welcome back to Wisconsin Tonight. As you know, Kenosha native Reince Priebus is chairman of the Republican National Committee.
He's in Milwaukee today, and I sat down with him to talk about the political gridlock in Washington. Thank you for coming in to join us for Wisconsin Tonight.
Hey, I'm thrilled to be back in Milwaukee, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Do you sometimes have to pinch yourself and go, what is a small-town boy like Reince Priebus doing as chairman of the Republican National Committee?
Well, it is a little odd to have a guy named Reince Priebus from Kenosha leading the party. There's no doubt about it. But you know what? I think that Wisconsin's cultivating a lot of leaders. I mean, if you look at our governor and Paul Ryan and Ron Johnson, this is a place that has cultivated a big Republican push.
Your ticket lost in the presidential election last November. Where do you go from here?
Well, for one thing, I think our party just has to do a much better job of understanding that we're in a world of permanent politics. I mean, if there's one thing that Barack Obama has shown us, it's that being in communities on a year-round basis with hundreds of people from coast to coast matters. And when you want to move an electorate, you can't just show up in a presidential election 5 months ahead of time. And essentially, if you think about it, Mitt Romney came through a bruising primary and then came out of that, then shifted to a general election for 6 months maybe. It just wasn't enough when you're competing against a president who is totally addicted to campaigning, raises $1 billion, and he's always on the campaign trail. So we have to get better at that, and that's one of the things that we need to do in our party.
What is the chance that Scott Walker or Paul Ryan will be at the top of the ticket in 2016?
Well, certainly. I mean, we've got a lot of good things happening here. I think both Paul and Scott obviously would make great presidents, but you know, I think they're pretty close friends, and I'm sure they'll do a lot of talking, and I don't want to speak for them, but I think either one of those two gentlemen would do our country proud.
There is a lot of political gridlock in the nation's capital right now. What can be done? What needs to be done to find some center ground and move good legislation forward for the good of the American people?
Well, you know, the common denominator, it seemed predictable that I would say this, but I really do think it matters for this country to have a president that is really willing to sit down with both sides and say, listen, we're going to get a deal done. We're not going to leave until you make things happen. You know, Bush did it, Reagan did it, Clinton did it. I mean, and I think that just takes leadership. Even people in his own party are banging on the president for, you know, his tepid action on guns, even though I don't agree with his position. He didn't really do a whole lot about it. His budget proposals of raising taxes and his indexing that his own party doesn't like. It doesn't seem like he can get the footing that he needs even within his party, let alone working with Republicans.
A week ago today, we had a horrific bombing at the Boston Marathon. One suspect survived and is in custody. If he is convicted, should he face the death penalty?
No, absolutely. I mean, what he did is just an atrocity at the highest level.
Reince Priebus, thank you for joining us on Wisconsin Tonight.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Reince Priebus stopping by our studio today, and we will put the entire interview online. Today's TMJ4.com/Wisconsin Tonight.